In order to tell the story of Standing Stone, I need to first start with a little bit of my own. I come from a family of entrepreneurs. My father is a certified public accountant. His father was a mechanic. His father was a general contractor. His father was a cabinet maker. It kind of runs in our blood, and I remember when I was growing up, my grandpa used to say, "Greg, there's nothing like running a business for yourself. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's also the most rewarding." And I've definitely found that to be true. I would never change the path that I'm on, but it doesn't mean that it's been an easy path either. When I left home, I came to Juniata College, and I thought I was going to follow the path of computer science. I was looking at probably starting my own consulting company one day. And I just found that as I was doing it, as much as I was enjoying aspects of it, I found that it was just harder and not quite the natural fit for me. Well, when I was getting ready to graduate, I decided to take a few years off and do some service. And I joined an organization called CCO, and they were committed to working on college campuses to do campus ministry. And as soon as I started into this, I realized this was the path that I was supposed to be. I was supposed to work with people. That truly was my passion. The path took me in a lot of different directions. In fact, it took me overseas. We started to do some work in Belize and do some work in different mission organizations where I realized that I also enjoyed connecting with people around the world. After that, it led me to a position at Messiah College. There I was the National and International Service and Mission Director. And it was there that I learned about community, what it meant to foster community, and how when we try to help communities, sometimes we can do more damage than good. But I also saw in the midst of that what it meant to engage communities through love and listen and learn from communities so that we can best help them. And that just planted a lot of seeds in my mind that eventually fostered what this was to be, the future of Standing Stone Coffee. It was in 2007 that my wife Jessie and I really got serious about what it would look like to purchase a building and turn it into a future coffee shop and community hub. And it was there that I put together a business plan, and we went from community to community trying to find the perfect fit where we wanted to invest in, who needed a place like ours, and that we knew that we would simply want to be there for the long term, commit to see change for the long term. And in order to do so, we knew we were going to be raising a family. Where do we want to do that? And out of all the colleges and the communities that we looked at, Juniata College and Huntington came out on top. We realized that this was a really special town and a really amazing community, and this was someplace that we really wanted to be a part of. In March of 2007, we purchased a building at the corner of 13th and Mifflin Streets and began the work of trying to figure out how to create this space from an old rundown building and turn it into something new that people would want to come to. We moved here in July of that year and really spent the rest of the summer trying to make a livable space as we moved into the apartment upstairs and settled into the area. We learned that the community really was needing a place to gather. They really wanted a little sandwich shop uptown. They still needed a laundromat. This had been a laundromat for 60 years, and although it was run down, they still needed a place to do their laundry. So could we provide that as well? In August of 2008, I went about the process of hiring the first staff. And we brought on the first 6 staff. We went through a training where I really didn't have a clue of what I was doing, no matter how many conferences attended or businesses I talked to or details I went through. I walked into it and said, we're gonna do this together. We're gonna figure out how to make this place what we want it to be. And from there, a week later, we opened our doors to the community. Oh, we expected a nice trickle, a slow open just to sort things out, but there was a line at the door on the first day, and it didn't stop for the next 2 months, we were all of a sudden swarmed with people, and we realized that we may have just hit the mark. In 2009, it was the heat of the summer, and we had slowed down as the college was out of session, and I knew it was time for us to really step back a minute after the whirlwind of the first year and to sort out what exactly happened. And so we held our first annual strategic planning meeting where all of the managers got together in kind of roundtable fashion and had conversations. What has gone well? What are we doing? Is this mission what we're supposed to be fulfilling? Who are we and who are we not? And it was a great 2 days of meetings and talking and sorting out. We realized we needed to work on the details. We needed to figure out, how do we go about creating a space and limiting who we are, and yet expanding who we are to match exactly what the target audience and mission that we're trying to go after. And so in 2010, we launched our community development programs. And so learning people's names, valuing people for who they are, welcoming them into the door, serving them with the best that we can offer, all of those things were extremely important, and we needed to continue to pursue that aspect of our mission. But there were also things that we could do in the broader community to go deeper and to potentially set an example for other businesses to follow. Also in 2010, the first business approached us called Inglebean Coffee, and they were about ready to open, and they wanted us to roast for them. This was a new endeavor for us. We'd been roasting for ourselves for a couple years, but at this point, could it be possible to create a wholesale business as well? And so with that beginning, we launched a whole new aspect of the business. Can we take our coffee, our mission, our story, out into the world in a whole new way to impact other businesses who can impact their communities? And so from that humble beginning, where we were roasting simply 8 pounds at a time for what started out as a few little businesses, now in 2018, we have over 60 wholesale clients serving multiple communities throughout the Mid-Atlantic, and it continues to grow. Our hope is that not only are we going to give them the best coffee that we can offer, but also give them the best story. That this is going to be specialty coffee based out of communities around the world who care about people just as we care about. And we want to tell their stories and to share our passion for people and our passion for good food and good coffee in all of the businesses that we engage in. By 2014, we decided to take on a little bit more. It was then that we thought, the summers are still a little slow for us, and so why not launch a mobile coffee cart that could travel to festivals in the area and get our brand and get our name out to more people and to tell our story even more. Go to where the people are at, in other words. By 2016, the business had grown at an exponential rate to the point that it was beyond the mission. It was beyond just the doors of the cafe, and it was time to come up with a broader mission that would fit more of who we had become. And after a lot of reflection, we came up with the mission statement of connecting people through an excellent cup of coffee, with the important taglines of quality, creativity, and community care. And so here we stand 10 years later in 2018. Aspects of the business have come into maturity. The cafe is continuing to care for the community as it reaches out in its events and its community development programs and its hospitality. The wholesale business continues to grow and to foster new markets and to share the story about coffee and community around the world. And the coffee cart continues to make new inroads into different aspects of the community that the cafe will never reach. And so who knows which direction we're going to be heading in the future, but we realize that our passion remains with people. And whatever venture we're going to be getting into, whatever direction we're going to be heading in, we realize that it first starts with our love for the neighborhood, and that is where we want to be.